All right, guys, so you want to know a little bit about a suburb that's up and coming right outside of Jacksonville, Florida. We're going to talk about it in this video right now. Let's go. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Dr. Adrian, Gentry, aka Dr. Real Estate Jax. If you've been here before, you know what I'm going to say. Get up, get your own water. Your family now. If you have not, do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification as we try to put out all things Jax, where to eat, where to live, where to play. And for those who do not know me, understand, real estate agent in the Northeast Florida area. Love to serve you. If you're PCSing, relocating, here for you. Selling a property, here, right? And put the number somewhere in here. Either myself or my assistant Janelle will pick up the phone. We're the people who pick up the phones. We're the people who call back. We're the people who email back. So shoot us an email, a text, or give us a call. We'll love to serve you. So what we're going to talk about today is Yulee, right? I wouldn't say a best kept secret, like we're not there yet, right? But we are talking about something that is up and coming in the Jacksonville area. A lot of people give us a call, and we've received calls from, all the way from Germany, Japan. Like we've relocated a lot of people. And everybody that moves here doesn't necessarily want to be in the heart of town. Sometimes they want to be on the outskirts. So we're going to talk about Yulee in this video. I'm going to let you see a little bit, and then we're going to get after this. So you got to check it out just a little bit. So I want to give you a little context. Like, where are we on the map? So we are located in Nassau County, which is North Jacksonville. It's about 30 minutes from downtown Jacksonville, about 20 minutes away from the airport. And if we're looking at going to Georgia, literally we're right near the state line. I think we're like 11, 12 miles away. So I wanted to talk about starting off the history of Yulee. Well, it's somewhat touchy. So I won't go into much detail. Let's just say it started off with sugarcane and people owning people. That's basically where we're at. And it was named after David Levy, who founded it in 1885. It's about 5,000 acres of just sugar cane, and it's rural, right? It's a rural location. Up until about 2 years ago, nothing was really being built here at all. When you know we're looking at a smaller town, we're only talking about 15,000 in population. When we're looking next to Jacksonville, 1 million, it's pretty rural. It's a small town. You're going to get a lot of trees. You're going to get a lot of water. You're going to get a lot of highway with big trucks moving stuff from major cities into Yulee, right? But I can't say this. Nassau County have some top-rated schools, and we're talking about A and B schools. We also have a local college here, which is FSCJ, Florida State College, which used to be FCCJ for those who are local. And so a lot of people look at this area just because of that. We're talking about schools A and B, and we're not having to worry about moving our kids around to different school districts or trying to find another school or using school of choice to get their children into a school that is A or B rating. So I think that's a real plus when we're talking about Nassau County. As far as cost of living goes, the cost of living is about 5% lower than the national average. We're talking about housing is about 3.1% lower than the national average, and the utilities low. We're talking about 3% lower on utilities, but for some odd reason, right, 10% higher on food. I've never understood that one, right? Like, how can a small town have higher prices on food? Maybe it's availability, maybe it's trucks don't like to come out here because they get bored driving down the highway and seeing nothing but bushes and trees, but that's where we're at. We're about 15% higher in this area when it comes to food. Healthcare, we're looking at about 16% lower than the national average, and the median home price right now is $451,000, which was really surprising to me, right? We were looking at the difference between Jacksonville and we were looking at Yulee, and we kind of found out that the cost was a little bit higher in Yulee than it was in Jacksonville. And I had to go back and start looking at some of the information and some of the data. Remember I said that it's about 2 years ago, no one was building out here. So you had a lot of trailers, you had some apartments, you had some old houses, but they weren't selling as much. So when they started to develop all of these new places like Wildlife, the place we're sitting in right now, we're looking at luxury properties, we're looking at newer homes, we're looking at great amenities, and so they're selling properties a little bit higher than they would typically sell in the area. So of course now the median home price has went up a bit. When we're looking at rents, we're looking at about $13.74, which I think is a little bit lower than Jacksonville, but the house prices have definitely went up out here. Utilities generally going to run you about $185 a month. Not utilities. Electric may run you $185 a month. A lot of these communities are now gas communities, and it doesn't fit into your utility bill. So that's going to be a different bill as well when we're looking at electricity, of course, water, and then sewage. I will never understand why sewage is more than my water bill. I live by myself, guys, and for some reason it's always like $10 to $15 higher. How could I be using more sewage than water? But I digress completely. The houses that you generally find out here are now older and newer. They've been doing a lot of building down here, right? Like, they've taken this small town and they're now putting it on the map. And I talk to people all the time about this, and they're saying, okay, was it a location that you think, over the course of time will be a hot zone? And I'm definitely thinking about Yulee when I'm having that conversation, just because there was nothing being built out here. Now we went from nothing to luxury properties. We have so many different builders out here. We have Dreamfinders, we have Seda, we have Madame, we have Riverside Homes. Dotsy, they're a luxury builder as well. And everybody is trying to gain some kind of land out here to build something. So I always look at this place now as one of those places that are up and coming. Recently, we moved our customer from Japan. He had never seen the house at all. And we were able to go through the entire process, getting him under contract, going out and doing weekly views of the property, sending him pictures, doing video. We had to do the first walkthrough. We had to do the final walkthrough. And he bought out here just for that reason, right? Because he was looking at the rent in this area. He was looking at the fact that a lot of people are building out here right now, and that it's going to grow with time. Rule. When I tell you it was rule, it was rule. In fact, this right here, I'm gonna show you, right? Like this, the Florida Citrus Center was a highlight of this city, right? It was something that you stopped. It was the only reason to stop, to be honest with you. So now when you're looking at Yulee, you're seeing a lot of new development that's popping up. And I'm not just talking about homes, I'm talking about commercial, I'm talking about businesses, and it's starting to thrive. The highway is actually SR 200. You're actually seeing a steady flow of traffic going back and forth down the road. And before then, you would only jump on this to actually get to somewhere like Amelia Island, which we're going to do a video on Amelia Island, in Fernandina Beach and Fort Clinch. And when you go down there, it's completely different than what you're going to find in Jacksonville. It's completely different what you're going to find in definitely in Yulee. It's completely different than what you'll find in most of the Northeast Florida area, because it seems more like a resort type area, right? You have your buildings. It's beautiful. It's not this video. We're not going to talk about it right now, but just understand we're doing Amelia Island and it's gorgeous, and we're going to talk about that. But most of the reason that people would get off this highway was to go down to Amelia Island. And what you would find mostly down here was single family homes. You would find trailers, which were most common in Yulee. You would find some apartments, but they would be headed back towards the Amelia Island area. There's plenty of neighborhoods with single family homes that are more modern, but it isn't uncommon to drive a little ways and you're gonna find a trailer that's sketchy, and it's a horror movie. Sometimes they look like horror movies began and ended inside of that trailer. So don't be spooked. Some of them are falling apart, but that's all based off of growth. Like, the infrastructure has to take place. So a lot of this land is being cleared out for new houses. Don't let it fool you, right? It's an upcoming area. We have Wildlight. Like I said, I've done a video on that. I'll link it down here below. Wildlight is absolutely gorgeous, and it's supposed to rival Nocatee. If you've ever seen our video on Nocatee, you might can check that out. I might have to link that down here as well. It's going to be even larger than Nocatee. So right now, if you get on 200 and you ride that, I think it's southbound. The south, north, you're driving it, right? You're driving. You can only go one way. You'll know real fast. So, so if you're driving down there, you'll see absolutely nothing. Completely rural. You'll see the sketchy houses on the side of the roads, and then all of a sudden it opens up, and you'll have everything that you're possibly looking for. You will have your Publix. You will have your Target. if you're bougie, right? You are going to find your Kohl's, you're going to find your Ross, you're going to find all your grocery stores, and that's literally, if I'm sitting in Wildlight right now, it'll take me at least, what, 4 minutes maybe? 4 minutes to get down to all the shopping. Directly across from Wildlight, we're looking at UF, healthcare, we're looking at Publix, we're looking at commercial space being built out here, and this is supposed to go on for the next couple of years. Remember I said this is going to be much larger than what you'll even find down in Nocatee, so it's going to be its own little town. But we do have neighborhoods like Tribute that had Dreamfinders, that's Lennar, Richmond's that are building down there. Another neighborhood I think we just talked about with my guy. Hey, shout out to Chin, man. He was an absolutely amazing customer. When we finally met him, we sat down, we ate lunch, and it was cool because he got me and my assistant our own personalized chopsticks from Japan. And I got to give him a shout out. He moved out here for just that reason. He understood that the place was actually growing. So he moved into River Glen. That's what it's called. I was actually talking so I can remember what River Glen was. Y'all didn't even know, but I had to tell you anyway. So he moved into River Glen. That was by D.R. Horton. They're doing a lot of single family homes as well. And you're gonna find new construction out here, right? If you're looking at single family, you're gonna find it from maybe $300,000 all the way to $700,000, $800,000. Depending on how much you customize in a property, you can get up to $1 million in the neighborhoods right now. But one thing I do know is it a great time to buy in Yulee? Yes, because the property value is going to continue to grow. And I talk about this all the time when I'm talking about new construction. When you're buying a new construction property, most times you're walking into equity, right? So by the time the property is finished, they've sold several more properties. That means your property has more value in it. And even though the market has settled down and it's cooled down, we're still looking at a tremendous amount of growth that's going on out here, that's going to continue to go on out here because they're clearing more land and there's new builders buying new properties every day. Like this is crazy. If I leave and come back next week, there literally will be another plot of land that has been wiped out completely for a new builder to put up a new neighborhood. And if we're looking at the proximity to an Amelia Island, if we're looking at the proximity to Fernandina Beach, when you're getting on and we can drive 20 minutes and we can get to an absolutely gorgeous beach or a historic place like Amelia Island with beautiful sand and driftwood on the beaches, or a Fort Clinch where you can hike, you can bike, you can go out there and just relax for the entire day. I think this is one of those places, I'm not saying the best right now, but I do believe that Yulee is definitely up and coming. And you'll see old decayed buildings, mom and pop shops as you're driving down SR 200. And then next thing you know, like I said, it turns into this beautiful place where you have all the shopping you want for the women. Men, you may not like what your accounts look like, but you'll definitely enjoy the proximity to all the shopping and the proximity to Jacksonville. We have couples out here right now that actually work in Kingsland, Georgia, which I said is basically 12 miles down the road at the naval base, the submarine base up there, or if you're going into Jacksonville for work downtown, 30 minutes, and I'll help you out real quick. Generally, I would tell people traffic in Jacksonville is when you're supposed to have traffic in Jacksonville. Leaving north to go down towards town, it's a lot easier than coming south and going towards town, right? Going towards downtown. So you guys would appreciate the commute. Not a lot of traffic that you're going to hit until you get to right next to downtown, but there's multiple ways to get downtown without having to fight all the traffic. Now, nightlife. I know you guys are going to ask me about that, right? Like, what is there to do in Yulee? You're telling me it's rural. Let me help you out real quick. You're going to have to get creative when it comes to nightlife. Can't tell you anything about that. First of all, my type of nightlife is the bed at this point in time in my life, meaning sleep, meaning I run all day and now it's time to lay down and I'm getting phone calls saying, hey, are you coming out? It's probably not happening. It's not going to happen. But in Yulee, there's not much nightlife to speak about. So you're going to have to get creative. Remember, I told you this Remember, this is what used to be a staple inside of Yulee. So I can't speak to the clubs, but I understand there's 2 different breweries out here. There are restaurants that you guys can partake in. And it's a small town. It's a small town. It gives you a small town feel. When it's dark at night, it's dark at night, right? Like, it's no ifs, ands, and buts, but the infrastructure's here, right? So they're running fiber optic cable so you can have great internet. Everything that you will find in a regular town, you'll be able to find down here. You're looking at AT&T as one of the cable suppliers. We're looking at a lot of gas communities that's coming up out here. So if you're coming from up north and you're used to gas, you can get it down here, and you're going to find more friendly like family-friendly activities more than anything. They have GFC, GFC paintball, multiple antique shops. You're gonna find White Oak Conservation Center, nature and wildlife. You're going to find guided kayaking tours, and we're near so many different cities. So you're looking at Fernandina Beach, you're looking at Kingsland, Georgia, you're looking at Miller Island, you're looking at Brunswick, Georgia, which if you ever want to take a trip, and I tell people all the time, even when moving to Jacksonville, it's a great location for day trips. It's a great location for a weekend getaway, away from the children, away from work, and just relax, calm, cool, and collected. I have went many of times to Amelia Island and just got in a hotel room on the beach and just relaxed, right? Had nothing else to do, and you're literally right down the road from that. So that's something that you're looking for. That's something that you're looking for. An area that is growing, right? I'm not saying it's the best suburb right now, because there's some other suburbs, but I am saying up and coming, because there was absolutely nothing here, and now we're seeing tremendous amounts of growth as far as new construction, commercial, small businesses, large businesses. Like, I'm looking at a lot of people move into the Yulee area. So I can only imagine within the next 2 years where we're going to be out here, but it's absolutely gorgeous compared to what it was 2 years ago. When COVID first hit, it opened up a lot of opportunities for a lot of people who wanted to really build properties. And so they started expanding outside of Jacksonville. A lot of people want to be on the south side of Jacksonville. There's some building going on out there, but how much space could you, how many houses could you possibly put in that space? There's building going on the west side of Jacksonville. There's building going on the north side of Jacksonville in areas that were once rural as well, where no one was really building. And so they've pushed it out just a little bit further into Yulee. And I think it's an absolutely gorgeous location, right, for families, right? I think it's an absolute gorgeous location if you want to commute into Jacksonville, Florida, for work, and then step back out into the country-like feel, but with a neighborhood vibe. And if we're looking at wildlife right now, the representation of what's about to come out here, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And we're talking about new and absolutely gorgeous. So you may want to check that out. So this is a location, like this is the type of place that you guys want to live. I'll put a number up here. Again, like, give us a call, like text messages. Email us. We would love to talk to you. We'd love to get you in the house. If you don't want to be in Jacksonville, you want to be in the burbs, this is definitely a location that we want to check out for you. We can send you out some information. We can do a free phone consultation, letting you know what's going on out here. But until next time, be great and choose excellence.